Haha! I have returned from work from...
Insert corporation here.
I would now like to relax. Oh, what's this? Oh boy! YouTube statistics! Looking at those totally doesn't make me depressed at all. Well, time to watch another niche cartoon. Let's get started.
Atmos, world of 1,000 mountaintop kingdoms, each protected by a sky knight against the forces of darkness. Beasts, rogues, and worst of all, Cyclonians. The greatest of all sky knights led the Stormhawks. His mission? Unite the kingdoms and rid Atmos of evil forever. But he was betrayed, the Stormhawks defeated, and all hope lost. Until now. I'm Arrow, the last descendant of the original Stormhawks, and I've been given their mission. This is my squadron. Finn, the marksman. Junko, the strongman.
Sorry.
Piper, the specialist.
Let's do it!
Stork, the helmsman.
We're doomed.
And of course my co-pilot, Radar. We're the Stormhawks. And for us, the sky is never the limit.
What in the crap was that? Oh, wrong DVD. Wait, do I even use DVD? Never mind. That was not the show I wanted to talk about. This is...
Atmos, world of 1,000 mountaintop kingdoms, each protected by a sky knight against the forces of darkness.
This is Stormhawks, a CG animated cartoon that aired on Nickelodeon. For some reason, all that came up when researching this was it airing on Nickelodeon Canada, although somehow it aired over here in the States because I vaguely remember glimpses of an episode or two as a little kid. Now this show aired alongside the legendary prowess of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is probably why not many remember this show as fondly as others. It has a cast of typical character archetypes and humor that will usually undercut the seriousness of a certain scene, especially in the later episodes. Plus, the humor can be a bit crude, but this is Canada we're talking about.
Titan's might!
Despite its problems, it's a pretty solid action cartoon. Its unique world sets it apart from most cartoons with really cool concept I haven't seen done before. There are motorcycles that can turn into biplanes that shoot lasers, reptilian pirate men, sky sharks, floating islands, Zelda reference, purple person, furries, and more. It's got the whole package for everyone. This show is created by Nerdcorps, which made other action-themed cartoons in similar and almost minimalist style. They're the creators of League of Super Evil, which I really enjoyed as a kid, Slugterra, something I haven't seen, and Hot Wheels Battle Force 5, which I have seen, but don't remember much of. Dang, Nerdcorps, you really fell off.
Man, we fell off. Man, he fell off. $85? Chad!
The main characters we follow throughout the series are Arrow, the determined leader, Finn, the hotshot marksman, Junko, the strong yet soft, bulky, and intimidating wallop, Piper, the equally determined mission specialist, and in my opinion, becomes more of a leader to the team than Arrow further into the series. And finally, my favorite character of the show, Stork, the emo Merbian pilot of the Condor, which is the Stormhawks' main HQ and hangar. He seems to be a fan favorite, and for good reason. Now don't get mad at me for saying this, because Stork just emanates this Invader Zim energy off of him all the time, and I love it.
Well, it could be more of a 24-hour thing. Give or take a couple of years. You're wasting your time, Stork. That'll never come in handy, Stork. I was right. The rest were wrong. They found a way on board. Oh, this is really bad news. For them. This is the most fun I've ever had.
So, you're saying the humans are dumb, yet tall. How is that even possible? I mean, how could anything tall be dumb?
Yeah! Huh? Huh? Can you imagine, huh? Huh? Huh?
And somehow, and I'm just trying to get this straight here, somehow they're dumb?
Like the dull-witted squeak-a-splotch.
I see.
Man, this guy! I fly the spaceship and I sure love steering!
Yeah.
Oh, look at me steering all over the place. Look at me steering with my widow steering hands.
I like that we're funny.
Does your music have to be so depressing? Yes.
The main villain of the show is Master Cyclonus, a Cyclonian witch of sorts who wants to rule all of Atmos with an evil and suppressive Cyclonian empire. With the Dark Ace at her side, she is nearly unstoppable without the Stormhawks to intervene. The villains don't always seem that threatening, but there is one scene out of all that shows their ultimate goal, and it is leagues above terrifying for a kid's cartoon.
And you? I just want to know one thing. Do we win? See for yourself.
Terra Atmosphere.
Each main character gets their own backstory episode, but these weren't until the second season, so a chunk of that storytelling is up to the viewer near the beginning. Or, you can just watch it without your brain on for the first half, and actually turn it on when the story gets interesting, like I did. However, it's such a shame that the finale ended on a cliffhanger, just like many good cartoons unfortunately fall to. It ends on the heroes finally arriving at the far side, which I presume to be another dimension, which looks something straight cyberpunk sci-fi. So what exactly happened? Unfortunately, there's not that much information out there about its demise. I search on Google and supposedly it's getting picked back up by Nick, but further investigation shows that that's just a fan page. There's definitely more to it that I'm too lazy to research into, but this is what I think the rest of the story will be.
Cyclonia Rising. Part 3. Master Cyclones seeks refuge within the far side as the Dudsanth Empire arrives, as they always do inevitably to any universe. The far side was once a thriving world of magic and mystery that seemed untouched by war. The Farsiders were evil creatures who lived in harmony with their environment, but this didn't mean they weren't powerful. One day an ancient wizard came upon the lands of the Farsiders and decided to show them how a true wizard could rule over the land. She taught them the ways of the dark arts and the power that they could wield. She took command of their empire and began to rule over Atmos. But after many years of her reign, the land of the Farsiders went to ruin. A new race rose up to take control of the land and use its magic for their own purposes. The Stormhawks went missing shortly after their arrival to the far side, the mission incomplete. They left behind a map showing where they believed the Oracle Crystal could be hidden, as they knew Cyclones' evil deeds throughout their adventures. The Dudsanth, a multi-universal spanning empire, took note of the power emanating from the crystal and wanted it for themselves. With the many planetary destructions in their wake, they rapidly made their way towards the far side to invade. arrived at the edge of the far side, which is where the far side citadel is located. If Cyclones was hiding anywhere, she would be there in a spire like the witch he is. The Stormhawks may be captive within Dudson's control, as they know nearly everything. It is odd they have not quickly located Cyclones and her crystal. As the Empire continues to make their way further into the planet, they discover the vast underground tunnels beneath the surface and begin digging deeper. The industrialization of the far side has boded well for the Dudson's resources. Unimaginable power and technology not yet perceived by the prowess of their scientists was now within their grasp. The Farsight's cyborg sorcerer John D. Clayton Cell-Dweller Roman, who had been searching for the Oracle Crystal and had found it deep below the ground, far beyond the reach of both empires. He had killed Cyclones. Now with his newfound power, he must subjugate the creatures of Farside and stop the Dudsonth. The power of the crystal, activated once more, granted the return of the Stormhawks from stasis, appearing like a flash as if nothing had happened in between. The squadron looks in horror as the smallest Dudsonth fleet hovers above the citadel, scanning for the crystal. The Dudsonth then attack the citadel, sending waves of soldiers down into the depths. John D. Clayton Cell-Dweller Roman II was forced to fight against these armies alone, and defeat them all before they could locate the Oracle Crystal. He was unstoppable, killing them left and right. After defeating every soldier sent to find him, John D. Clayton Cell-Dweller Roman II finally faced off against an entire Dudsonth battle cruiser. After being severely wounded in battle, he managed to destroy it. His victory was short-lived, however, as a new fleet of Dudsonth Navy amassed themselves in retaliation. The Stormhawks narrowly evade the newly entered ships as they exit space folding. Clayton and the Stormhawks both have a common enemy. As the two fleets clash in space, the Dudsonths manage to gain the upper hand and launch missiles at the Stormhawk squadron. One barely misses the Condor's stalk, lets out a sigh of relief. However, one hits straight into Junko's engine. The squadron barely escapes losing Junko and retreats to the safety of the Citadel. "I'll fix your ship," says Piper to Aero. "No, you need rest," Aero replies. The Stormhawks are trapped on the ground, while the Dudsonth continue to bombard them. It was clear the only hope of survival was a temporary truce between the two sides. Clayton arrives near the damaged Condor, proposing an alliance. "With Cyclones gone, my new army and your help, we can defeat the Dudsonth." Piper doesn't trust him, though. "What makes you think we'd ever ally with you?" "You're still alive," says Clayton. "That means the Stormhawks haven't given up just yet." Aero gives Clayton a smirk and looks at Piper. Piper regrettably smirks back. The Stormhawks and the Farside army agree to fight the battle of the century. This agreement allows the Stormhawks to repair their vessels and prepare for the final battle. Meanwhile, the Dudsonth Empire prepares for battle as well. The Emperor himself leads his forces across the skies to the Citadel. While the armies of the Farside gather, the Stormhawks decide to head inside the Citadel, metaphorically hiding behind Clayton's Oracle Crystal. Clayton casts a shield spell across the whole mass of the Citadel as the Dudsonth indiscriminately bombard from orbit, some of their energy shells even hitting their own ships. Inside the fortress itself, a group of Dudsonth scientists and engineers work feverishly to build new weapons and defenses. Meanwhile, the Stormhawks move closer to the center of the Citadel, trying to avoid detection by the large amount of naval forces surrounding it. Clayton and the Stormhawks were boxed in. The Dudsonths launch their next wave of attacks, but they don't come close to the Stormhawks. A mysterious figure appears from nowhere and starts firing lasers at the Dudsonth ships. It was none other than the mysterious man from the previous chapter named Cell-Dweller, who is a clone of Clayton. In an instant, the ship explodes. The rest of the Navy retaliates with a volley of artillery and anti-air towards the skies.
"How do you get past our defense systems? We must send reinforcements immediately."
The All-Gun pilots croaked with their throat modulators. It seemed as if the whole Dudsnif fleet was pointing their heavily armed noses at the far side citadel. Clayton realizes his clone, Seldwiller, is giving them a distraction to attack the Dudsnif while vulnerable. On me! Now! Clayton exclaims, firing multiple beams out of his oracle staff. The Stormhawks begin to fly into the volley of lasers barely grazing their skin, and weaved in and out of Dudsnif ships, destroying many with Clayton and Seldwiller's help. Suddenly, the Dudsnif flagship launches an orbital strike missile, but it was too late. The Stormhawks and Seldwiller destroyed most of their fleet. Clayton, the Stormhawks, and Seldwiller watch as the remaining Dudsnif ships flee into space fold, leaving only 3 critically damaged warships behind. Finn shoots an arrow at the orbital missile, and being the hotshot marksman he is, he hits the target dead on. The missile explodes, leaving a rift back to Atmos. The Stormhawks are safe from harm thanks to Finn. We have done it today, Stormhawks. Thanks to you, I can now begin my new empire. Clayton cackles. Your new empire? Darrow confusingly replies. Yes, and you will all serve under me as part of my new military force. Or die. Never. We won't work for another evil replacement of Cyclones. Arrow retorts. Well then, I guess that's goodbye to you all. Clayton says with a sinister smile. You've betrayed me and sided with my enemies. He pulls out a special handcrafted dagger, and proceeds to give Arrow a swift stabbing to the chest. How is this for a Cyclones replacement? Clayton sinisterly retorts back into Arrow's ear. Arrow collapses onto the floor, bleeding profusely, his life slowly fading away. So long, Stormhawks. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Clayton laughs maniacally as he then takes out an energy pistol. He proceeds to shoot every remaining Stormhawk dead between the eyes, one collapsing after another. And that, dear friends, is how it ends. Clayton and Seldwiller look upon the remains of the far side citadel, knowing the end of an era. They begin to make their way towards the Atmos rift to invade.
And that is what I think will be the finale.
So this isn't Mindy.